had this dream where a demon was literally holding me down, and I couldn't scream, I couldn't get up, I couldn't push it off of me. And when I woke up, like, I just knew. I knew there was something wrong, I needed help.
All right, Amber, we had to break apart for the first part. Now we're on to part 2. So where we left off, you had just gotten out of Nettleton, where you'd been stuck for, what was it, 3 months?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you're stuck for 3 months, and you finally get out, all because of a dealer down there who was a really kind person.
Yep.
And he ended up helping you get out of there. So where are you at now?
I am in Burnsville, at my sister's ex-husband's and his new wife's house. They're kind people. They let me come live with them. Then they want someone else come stay with them for a minute. But in that process, I was talking to someone else, and they were helping me get into Pines and Katy Hills, which is another rehab, because I wanted to get sober. I wanted to try to keep my friends. I was no longer wanting to die, I guess to say, the way I was using drugs beforehand. I had a little bit of hope left, I guess. And I went down there at Pines and Katy Hills, and I enjoyed that rehab. It's a really good rehab if you're not looking for something that is faith-based and want something that's more about the steps and guidance, because they have counselors and stuff too, which kind of helps you open your eyes. But I was only down there for like 2 months, maybe, until my grandma passed away. When she passed away, I left so I could go to her funeral. Well, I couldn't get a pass because it was on the weekend, and it was in like 2 days, and I couldn't talk to nobody about getting a pass, so I had to leave. So I left, and I went to that. Then me and my boyfriend now got together. Okay, and we went through, he had a decent job. We were both sober, weren't doing nothing, except for maybe smoking pot here and there. We got a house in Iuka, and we were doing all right for a minute. We wanted to celebrate, and by celebrating, we ended up doing some other drugs, meth and stuff, and we never walked away from it again. We started using, and I was working at Dollar Tree. He was working at Dollar General, and we tried to get better jobs, and the whole time we were going through addiction this time, I was fighting myself because I didn't want to do it, but I wanted to do it. Like, I knew I shouldn't, and I didn't want to because I wanted to do better, but I didn't know how to do better, I guess, because we were still around the same people, same areas of last time. And we fell into addiction pretty hard then too, because we went from having our own place to losing everything we had, and ended up having to go live with some other people that lived down on Eastport. And when we went and lived with them, we lived in a room where we had hung curtains up to separate the room, so we had a piece of the room and they had a piece of a room, another couple. And we lived like that for about a year, and we didn't have jobs. We did drugs. We would go steal stuff for the drugs. We got real good friends with a drug dealer from Boonville at that point in time, and it was real easy for us to get drugs. We also became friends with a really close drug dealer in Payton. So either way, we had someone where we could just go steal some speakers or go steal something and trade it off for drugs.
Okay, so, all right, so you've met the person that you're with now.
Yep.
And you guys are living in Boonville?
No, Iuka.
And you guys are doing drugs together. So how long did the addiction last between the two of you during this time period?
Probably a year. I think about a year or so. A year or two.
And he had mentioned in his interview that that relationship was very toxic. Can you add to that?
Yes, it was. There was, because I was fighting myself, I was always aggravated. I was always on like the breaking point of just being angry at all the time. I started using the needle again, and at that point we were living in the house at Eastport, and we were always fighting, always. And matter of fact, one of the worst fights we had at that point in time, I ended up busting a window out of the car with a rake. Like, we loved each other, but we also hated each other. And if someone wanted to leave, we wouldn't let the other one leave. It was very bad.
It was almost like your future selves were back in time saving you both for the good time to come ahead.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, all right, so your addiction together goes on for another year. Which one of you brings up sobriety first?
Neither one of us. We actually go see the PO because we were both on probation at this point. And we hadn't been making payments and stuff because we didn't have the money and all that. And they ended up drug testing us and sending us both to jail. Then while in jail, we were passing notes back and forth. And I guess I had some dreams in jail that really just opened my eyes. And I sound crazy, but I know God was talking to me through my dreams.
It's not crazy at all.
I have a few other stories about stuff like that too. But I had this dream where a demon was literally holding me down. And I couldn't scream, I couldn't get up, I couldn't push it off of me. And when I woke up, like, I just knew. I knew there was something wrong, I needed help. And I just straight up told Austin through our little notes one day that I wanted help, and either he could get sober with me or we could not be together. It was that simple for me. And of course, probation, they could have sent us to prison for violation and stuff, but they felt like, I guess, that we didn't deserve to go to rehab, even though it was like my fourth rehab. I get, I'm surprised. I'm thankful.
Hey, it doesn't matter how many times it took. One of them
Right.
stuck.
Right. I'm thankful that they decided not to send me down and just send me somewhere else. Thank y'all. But I ended up going to Pawn Top to One Lost Sheep. It is no longer a rehab. It's no longer open. But it wasn't open very long when I got there either. It wasn't very structural rehab or nothing. It was more, we love you, we want to help you, and God's here for you. Pretty much. He's the one that's going to do all the work. And that is what helped me. I got in there and I had Tasha and Brother Jeb and Miss Kathy that I could talk to and tell them everything, and we would pray about it. And even if they didn't like something that had happened or something that we had talked about, we would always pray about everything, and the Lord would answer in subtle ways. You just gotta know what you were looking for. There was this time in rehab I was having dreams that it was, by this point, by going to jail, we were in jail for like 2 weeks, so I was sober for 2 weeks. We got to jail or to rehab, and it was about another 2 or 3 weeks. So I'd been sober for about a month and maybe a half by this point. And I started having dreams where I was looking at me, but I wasn't me, and I was surrounded by darkness. And I didn't understand at all. Like, it was freaking me out. So me and Tasha and the group of girls, we ended up going to this church is like a Pentecostal church. I don't remember the name of it though exactly.
Yeah.
And they had the baptism. People was running around speaking in tongues, which is weird to some people, but
Well, it's a little weird to everyone.
right. But you know, it's whatever. But when you walked into the church, you could feel the spirit. Like, you can feel the spirit of God there. And I ended up getting baptized there and rededicated my life to Him there. And when I did that, when I got baptized, I literally felt stuff wash off of me. I don't know how else to tell it because it's a spiritual feeling, but I literally felt it. Like, it was like no other baptism I've ever been through. I've been through a few of them as a kid, you know. Yeah, I want to follow Jesus Christ, blah, blah, blah. It was a real eye-opener to really just feel it, though. And that night, I had a dream, and I was me, and I was surrounded by light, and I was praising the Lord. And then I had another dream where He was telling me that if I ever went back to that life, I would probably die in that life. So that's kind of helped me stay sober, because I know that was from Him, the Lord.
And I think if everyone's been following along with the first part and then this part, has becoming sober changed the way you see yourself?
Yes. I love myself now. I mean, not everything about myself. I still have, okay, I don't like my thighs. I don't like my belly. It's little things. But as far as I don't want to die no more.
You love yourself as a person.
Yes. I don't want to die. I want to be here. I want to enjoy life. And through a lot of addiction and going through a lot of the things that I did go through, I didn't want to be here anymore. I felt like I was just a waste of space, like no one cared, like no one wanted me around, no one listened to me. Like, I just didn't matter. So most of the people in my life has used me, and that's what I was good for. Getting sober and finding the Lord, I have found peace within the situations that I went through. I know that everything happened for a reason, whether if it was for a good reason or a bad reason. I've learned my lesson through all of it.
All right. So you ended up rededicating your life to God.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it actually does make sense to me, and I hope it does to other people, that you felt something wash off of it. So how long is it until you and Austin are able to get around each other again?
Okay, let's see. I was in rehab for 8 months. He was in there for 6. He went in there at one point, got out for his teeth, and had to go back.
Were you guys able to talk to each other?
No, we weren't married, or we're not married. So anybody contacting at my rehab, the rules was you can't talk to nobody unless it was family. I couldn't talk to none of my old friends. I couldn't talk to my boyfriend because we weren't married. The only people I could talk to was my mom, my kids, and Anthony.
So you didn't know if he was sober yet? You were just running on faith at that point.
Mm-hmm. There was a few points that I just kind of, because my mama and my Aunt Crystal was telling me about when he got out the first time. I didn't say I didn't know nothing about none of that, but they were telling me how he wasn't in rehab and how he was still messing up. So at some point in rehab, I decided that if he wasn't, I would be okay. I already made plans to stay in Pontotoc, where I was doing good. I loved my job. I loved my group of people that I was put around. I was put around a whole group of godly people that really put time and effort into me and praying for me and trying to help me. And I done made the decision I was staying. Point blank, I was there.
So it was just an added bonus when you did get out, you found out that he was sober as well.
I was still in rehab because by 6 months I graduated the rehab, but I was still there just because I wanted to be there. And I was able to have my phone by that point. And he messaged me one day and was telling me how he's been trying to get a hold of me and stuff. And I was like, well, I couldn't have nothing, no contact, no phones, no nothing. We had to use a special phone for the rehab to contact the people we were talking to. So when he told me he was still sober and stuff and how he graduated and he was fixing to go live somewhere else, I was like, well, that's great. I was planning on staying at the rehab, but I messed up because I'm me. And I was hanging out with this girl named Alonda, and she had a little weed vape, and I hit it. And that same day, we had drug tests at
good
rehab.
timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. But, you know, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And they were going to let me stay, but I had to restart the whole rehab thing over again. And I was just like, I ain't doing all that. So I decided I was going to leave. I packed all my stuff, took it to Mama's. And Austin told me where he was living, I could come stay with him. We did, or I did. And I got our car from Iuka because Mama had kept our car and all of our stuff that wasn't in rehab that he could save. He saved it there. So I got all of our stuff and I came back down here to Acre and to one of the trailer parks, and we stayed there for a while. Then some things went down with his mama because I wouldn't give her a ride to something. I don't know, it was late at night. I didn't have insurance. Headlight sucked at that point in time, so we got kicked out. And we moved to Blue Springs. And we lived with some other people, Joe and Tracy. They were pretty great people. We just paid our bills, clean, you know, let us do whatever. We were still sober and still working at the same jobs. And then my boss helped me get another house.
You had mentioned earlier that when you both were still in deep addiction, you were toxic.
Yes.
So is it safe to say sober, that was the problem
Yes.
for the most part?
Yes. Being in addiction was a lot of the problem, but I think my hurtness was a lot of the problem too. I was a lot of the problem because I was not me. I don't know how else to say that. Like,
Oh, I love the story itself because you both, at a certain point, instead of being on the same path, you had to take your own path to recovery. And then, luckily, by the grace of God, that path came right back together.
yep.
That's literally my favorite takeaway from that story. I love hearing stories like that. So we already know that a lot of kids, as young as you were, that when you started getting groomed, are on the internet.
Yes.
It's probably worse these days.
Probably.
So if there's somebody out there watching this at that same age, what do you have to tell them?
Don't listen to them. If they're grown adults talking to you like that, then they don't have they shouldn't be talking to you.
Yeah.
Even if it's a family member and they are all touchy-feeling and trying to get along with you in certain times and you don't feel like something's right, listen to that gut feeling, because usually your gut's going to tell you, hey, this ain't right.
It's never your fault. Tell
Yes.
somebody.
Yes.
Always tell somebody.
Tell somebody. Tell someone you can trust, not just anybody. Because some people may not believe you, and then some people may also be on their side.
So what would you tell to somebody who is as deep in addiction as you were that believes there's no way out?
There's always a way out. There is a way out. If you feel like there is no way out, pray to God. God will bring you out of the problem that you're in.
I think these days a lot of people hate hearing that, and I don't really know why, because a lot of people see that as the old way. But from the stories that I've heard people tell me, it is the way out of a lot of bad situations.
Yes, and if someone don't feel like that's the way, all I can say really is look up Chris Payne. He has a whole sermon. It's called A Way Out because of him going through drug addiction himself. There's a lot of us that have found Jesus, but then that's not the only way. If you don't believe in God and you just want out and you really want it, any rehab will work for you. You got to want to get out.
So, was there a heartfelt reunion when you and Austin got back around each other? Like, I'm guessing people want to know that. I mean, I don't
Yes.
think they assume you just went to bed like, all right, good night, I'll see you tomorrow.
No, no, no.
So
It was, I drove from my friend's house, Alonda's, because before I found out where he was staying, that's where I was going to stay, was with the girl, which thank God I didn't, because found out later they were in addiction. Ooh, missed a bullet.
yeah, dodged a serious bullet there.
But I went to go stay with them, and he was telling me where he was at, and I just wanted to go see him. So I got in our car with our crappy little headlights it had, and I drove there, about got lost because my sense of direction sucks. And I got up there, and it was a nice reunion. It was lots of lovey-dovey stuff.
I'm glad. I'm very glad. So, let me think here. Oh, I guess I can ask you the same question I asked Austin, because I had asked him, you know, what would he tell himself, and I loved his answer. So, basically, right before you started addiction, you started drugs. If you could go back to that person, would you tell them the same thing that he would tell himself, which was, get a helmet, it's going to be tough?
Yeah, because if I would have told my younger self to leave the situation I was in when I first started doing drugs, I wouldn't have my kid. Because that's a byproduct of him too.
I don't even think our younger selves would listen to our older selves, honestly. I wouldn't.
I didn't listen to nobody else telling me about how drugs was bad, or, you know, we went through the DARE program. I had addiction in my family. It ain't like it was nothing new.
Yeah.
I was more curious than anything. That was going to get me either way it went, I guess. Curiosity kills the cat, bro.
Yeah, every time. So, from all the stories that you've told today, and you're the first interviewee that's going to have 2 parts. I didn't quite know how long of a story you had, but what is the biggest lesson you've learned from surviving everything you've been through?
Don't always trust your feelings. Your feelings lie.
And that was a big point with Austin's interview.
Don't always trust your feelings. Your feelings lie to you. You can feel one way, but that doesn't mean that's what the situation is or what it's going to be.
Yeah. So, when people finish watching this interview, what message that you've given what message that you talked about? I'm going to have to edit this part out. Okay, blah. When people finish watching this interview, what's the one message you hope stays with them?
There's hope. Don't lose hope. Keep fighting. There's always something's gonna happen to where you can get out of any situation. You just gotta hang on and keep going.
Well, is there anything that we've left out that you want people to know?
Nah.
No?
No.
Amber, I'm still going to get your last name wrong. I'm sorry about that. But thank you so much for coming on and telling.
You're welcome.